जयपुर वाया कोटा।
कृपया ध्यान आपो अहमदाबाद
दिल्ली में आपका स्वागत.
Lucknow Junction.
ನಿಲ್ದಾಣದ ಕಡೆಗೆ ಹೊರಟಿರುವವರೆಗೆ
Hyderabad Bhattacharjya Express পরবর্তী স্টেশন নেতাজি ভবন. कृपया ध्यान दियो.
Hello and welcome to Cricbuzz Live. I'm Saiyami Kher and I was relishing the Hyderabadi biryani, but there's already Mysore Pak and Sandesh on the table. KKR take on Bengaluru today. It's almost a do or die for Bengaluru. They're wearing new colors. They're wearing green today and coming back after a nice long break. So maybe their fortunes will turn. Joining me, of course, when there's KKR in the house, you know who's in the house, Joyda, and with him, someone who's come back after a nice long break, Simon.
A nice week off. It's been fantastic, actually. Just flew in again this morning, so I'm looking forward to a good double-header day.
It's always going to be a good double-header day when we have both of you in the house.
And of course, there's much more serious business. That's between you and the guessing game between you and Gaurav, between Simon and Viru. So there's all sorts of, interplays going on. Lots of double-headers on today.
Yeah, there's lots happening today, but like you said, you've had a fantastic off. Bengaluru coming back after a nice break. Do you think things will turn around for them, Simon? Because, they really need to win this one. They've won one, lost six. So this is almost a do or die for them.
Yeah, I think it is. It's that time of the season where everyone's looking at that, that top four places. How many points do we need? Two teams look like they could comfortably get to 16, 18, maybe even 20 points. So, you're fighting out that third and fourth spot and you're kind of thinking that 16 is a minimum. So if 16 is a minimum, then they need to win everything from here on in if they're going to get to that 16 points situation. So, yeah, I think it's must win. If they don't win today, I can't see them at all making that top four.
Well, Joy, the last time they've fared so poorly was back in 2019 and they were last on the points table. They don't want to remember that at all.
Yeah, absolutely. I think they look for that 2016 where they were 2-5 and they made their way back and, really reached the finals. They did very well out there. So I think that's what it's all about. I think what happens in these cases, and I've been lucky enough to be part of one such journey in 2014, when KKR was 1-2, lost 5. That means you won 2 out of 7 matches and won the next 9. And there's only one way to do it. The only one way to do it is one match at a time. You're not even thinking at the next match. There's nothing beyond what's going to happen today. And I think that's how they have to look at it. They've got enough time to think about it. They've enough time to talk about it among themselves. I think the time for talking is past. I think now they've just got to go and deliver.
RCB have won the toss and they've decided to bowl first. I don't think this is what both of you all would have recommended because that's what we were discussing in the green room.
I just wonder about that decision. What's it based on? It's an afternoon game. What you don't want is your fielders to be out in the heat and getting cooked. And even your batters getting tired for the time they come to bat. I know these guys are all fit and strong and everything's on your side, but I just think batting first in a day game, the surface is not going to change a lot. Maybe they're seeing it extra dry, and maybe they can do something with it now, and maybe it might get better. But I just don't see. Listening to the pitch report, it's going to be quite dry already in certain patches. I just think runs on the board in an afternoon game would be the way I would go. They've kind of handed the advantage to Kolkata, and normally I would have thought that Bengaluru would like to bat first anyway.
But it's also Virat who likes to chase and maybe keeping that in mind. And also Shreyas said that if they'd won the toss, they would have liked to bowl first because they might feel the wicket will be a little slow.
So then I think the only thing that I can say is, and which is not unusual for this tournament, that the people who saw the wicket swan and I think Sanjay saw the wicket up front, I think whatever it is, these people are seeing something different in the wicket. It may be that they don't trust the wicket. I think that's what it is. They are not sure how this wicket will play. If you're not sure how a wicket will play, you always want to put the opposition and say, let me see how it turns. Because it may work well, it may not work well. If it doesn't work well, at least I'm not putting myself in a situation where I'm exposing myself early. So I think that is the only charitable explanation I can give it. Otherwise, they should be, in the situation they are in, Bengaluru should definitely be batting.
You were saying this in the green room. You said probably the best chance they have to win is come and pile on those runs, because it's the batting that is their strength for Bengaluru.
Absolutely. So, look, also remember one thing. This team, because they haven't played for 7 days, they've been camping in Calcutta for the past 3 days. So they've seen the pitch, they've been watching it every day, they've seen how humid it is in the afternoon. It hasn't rained for the past 3-4 days. So the humidity is at an all-time high. It will be huge. It will rain tomorrow, day after, in the next couple of days it will rain. But what it does mean is that it's not a pitch that you've come overnight, look at it this morning and said, okay, let me have a quick look at the pitch. They've been seeing this pitch. They've obviously seen something there which they don't trust, or, they just collectively as a team, they've said, we'll take the back foot, because allowing another team to go in there and put 220, 230 on the board, even in a bad season, you have to say that Bengaluru's batting at this time is doing better than its bowling. And if that is the case, you always want to put your strong suit first in a situation where you've lost so many matches.
Simon, Joy, we have a whole lot of RCB fans in our studio as well. So for their sake, I want to know, do you all see both of them for this team going and winning the next 7 games?
Oh, look, it's so tough. It's so tough to do. And as Joy said, it's one game at a time. And from a coaching, playing point of view, from a captaincy point of view for Faf, that's all it will be about. Boys, we can't worry about next week.
Yes.
We can't worry about 3 games' time, because that game's gone if we don't win today. So how do we go about winning today? So the week off, I'd like to think they probably had 2 or 3 days of doing just nothing. Have a bit of fun. Just try and get the cricket out of your system for a little bit, and have 2 or 3 days off and do nothing. Just enjoy, whether it's family company, whether it's your mates, whatever it might be, and then get your head back into the cricket. Probably 2 days ago, maybe 3 days ago, Max, if you said they arrived in Kolkata 3 days ago. So that would have been the key for them. But you cannot think 3, 4, 5 games down the track. You only can go 1 game at a time. And this tournament will trip you up whenever you start to think that, because every side has the ability and the quality to beat you on their given day. So it's it's so important for them to just try and do the basics right, get it right. Senior players have to start performing. A few of them have. Obviously, Virat has, and Faf has been better in the last couple of games. DK obviously has done a great job, but some of those bowlers need to step up. I think that's the key for them.
Well, DK said it in their post-match. He said that we still believe, because if you don't, as a unit, believe that you're going to win, then there's no point playing.
Absolutely. I think you have to take that mentality. You have to take the mentality saying you're going to scrap, battle, fight, go down hard, keep every match, give it everything you've got. Because forget about what else you do. You owe it to your fans. You owe it to, and RCB is one of the nicest and largest fan bases in the country. They're very faithful fans. You can't guarantee them wins, but you can guarantee the fact that you look as if you've tried your best out there. And I think that's what they want to say. And they'll want to win this for their fans. Forget about everything else. They'll want to win it for them.
Well, we'll have a look at KKR's playing 11. They've gone unchanged. We did have that little discussion whether, Shreyas will come in if the track is a little slow. But Simon, Joyda, they've gone unchanged.
Batting first, isn't it? Yeah. So that's their batting 11. Siraj maybe, and the substitutes will come to those shortly. But look, Salt, very, very good. Narine's been unbelievable. I'm really loving what I see from Raghuvanshi. He looks a player of the future. He's got a lot of class about him. He just needs one big one. He needs to sort of kick on and get a 70, 80, 90 if he gets an opportunity. But it's a powerful side. And when you think about how well they've done, I think we looked at it prior to the game. Rinku Singh's faced 51 balls in the tournament. So that tells you that your top 5 are doing the job. He's not getting a huge amount of opportunities to bat. And people might say, well, he hasn't had a great time of it, but he's had 51 deliveries in 6 games to get it right. So, he hasn't had a huge amount of opportunity, but it's a very powerful looking side.
Well, Joyda, the last match you said probably the only thing Sunil Narine can do is now drive the team bus.
Exactly.
Because he's doing everything for the team, and it's just been such a delight to watch him.
Yeah, he's aged like fine wine, and I think this batting has really come on. It sees, again, Sunil depends a lot on his captainness too, and in this case, the mentor, Gautam. Gautam was the one, they promoted him as opener in that 2015-16 seasons, he and Chris Lynn. And I think that's what they've gone back to. Again, Phil Salt is exactly like Lynn. And the interesting part is normally you'll see one guy going hard, one guy. Here, both guys go. And it was the case again with Lynn, and you both, from both sides, Narine and Lynn used to hit. And I think that's the formula they have up front. The interesting one is, I think that, the way RCB has to do is they have to attack them. And I mean, what Simon has been shouting about for a very long time, use the short ball. You've got an extra short ball. Nobody seems to be using the short ball against him. They're giving him length. If you give Sunil Narine length, that is not a good idea.
He's been phenomenal, though. I mean, Harsha and I, we did the first game when Kolkata played, and we had a little bit of a joke about it. I mean, I was really surprised to see him walk out to bat. His last 4 seasons in total, he's scored 275 runs at an average of 8. In the last 4 seasons.
And this season?
Prior to this year. And he's got 276, so he's got one more run this year than he's got in the last 4 seasons. And he's flying. So, look, I mean, hats off to those who basically gave him another crack at opening the batting, because it's worked a treat for Kolkata. It has been magic to watch. I don't know what he's changed, whether he's just been... I don't think he's been more selective. Maybe he's just actually really working hard on that power game, on that power hitting, because if you took the last 4 seasons, you wouldn't have him anywhere near the top 6 or 7 in a batting unit. So it's been a revelation, back to his sort of 2015, 16 times. And he's not easy to bowl to, but they have not used the short ball well enough to him at all, and they haven't gone wide at him at all. I mean, he loves taking spinners down. Don't bowl spin. And if you're going to bowl spin, make sure it's slow, really slow and wide of off stump. Don't fire. The more you fire it in at him, the further he'll hit you. So you just got to be a little bit smarter about how you bowl to him. And I think the short ball in under the armpit and that left, his right shoulder for a left-hander, I think is the key.
Joyda, you spoke about how Gambhir had backed him back in 2015. He's spoken about how he had seen him in his debut game in 2011 and said that he'd be one of the finest bowlers, T20 bowlers. And we see it right there. So the batter and the bowler just...
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, where he actually, the first time I've seen Gautam see him, he had that terrific hairstyle, he had the mohawk. And we were playing a practice match against Trinidad and Tobago during the Champions League. And there... for the first time, Gautam was batting and Gautam couldn't pick him. If Gautam can't pick a spinner, then you just put that name down on the list immediately.
Well, we'll have a look at the impact list now. We have it ready for KKR. So there we have it. Suyash Sharma is in that list. So maybe we'll see him coming in today?
Yeah, well, they've got that option there, or maybe the Vaibhav Aurora option. If they want to go a quick bowler, if it's sort of holding in the surface a little bit, they might play the extra spinner, bring that spinner in. But, having 3 spinners, I think from a opposition point of view, it's probably one of their struggles. I think Bengaluru, it's probably... They find it a little bit harder through the middle to play the spin, to work the spinners around, so they might go with that option, particularly if it's slow. And remember, with an afternoon game, the dew does not play a factor. So if it slows up, those 3 spinners might have a bit to say in the second innings, I think. And you think about Narine, Chakravarti and Suyash if they bring them in.
Well, let's have a look at RCB's playing 11 in tune with their chopping and changing. They have gone ahead with 3 changes. Cameron Green comes back in, Karan Sharma and Siraj comes back in. Joyda, this is halfway into the season and you're still trying to get your team together. It's not good signs.
I think it's not a good sign, but look, now they're desperate. What they've done is they've put in their Cameron Green, put in their 16 crore option. They've put in their top bowler Siraj and given him responsibility and say, you go and do something for us. I think this is very much a team where they've been told, go there and do something. We've given you opportunities. You are our top players. You are the guys that we backed in the option. Now go there and do your jobs. And it's good to see Karan Sharma back there, because I think you need another spinner. Mayank Dagger's done well for them only in that first match. And after that, he's really struggled. So Vishak, I don't understand. Vishak is poor chap. He doesn't know. He's like a rotating door policy. He's walking in, he's going out, he's coming back in. When he does well, they drop him. Then he comes back in again for no reason. It's just unfortunate. Perhaps it's not, obviously nobody intends to do that, but I think the kind of selection policies they have with Vishak, he's suffering.
And also Karan Sharma, he's bowled all of 2 overs, I think, so far. So we know that he's a quality spinner, but he's just bowled 2 overs.
And that's the problem. And when you're playing in Bangalore more often than not, it's such a tough place to bowl. That's why when we look at Chahal's numbers over the years, that's why he's been so exceptional. And you cannot say enough about that guy. And obviously he's at Rajasthan now, but it's a tough place to bowl spin. It's a tough place to bowl full stop on some occasions. But you have to have your wits about you there. So this surface might suit him a little bit more. But they've struggled with spin. Maxwell's been their best spinner.
Yes.
He's been the most economical spin bowler. I think he's taken more wickets.
I think he's the best bowler.
He's the best bowler, full stop. And obviously he's not there. So, I mean, they've got the option of Will Jacks, obviously, to bowl some off spin. I think he's probably more of a wicket-taking option as well. He actually does give the ball some air. He really tries to spin it. So he becomes a good option for Bengaluru with the spin coming into play. But, they just haven't bowled well. Across the board, they've been poor. And I just feel like they've always been a side that their bowlers are under pressure.
Yes.
They've always been under pressure.
And
they've always spent massive money on batters.
The batters,
And then almost scrimped and saved a little bit at times on bowlers, or look for that next level down bowler they can get slightly cheaply because they pay overs for some of the top order batters. So, Siraj needs to do something. I'll be honest, he's had a poor tournament so far. And, he's an Indian player. He's an Indian selection on that in that T20 World Cup side. He's got to start doing something.
Joyda, we'll have a look at the impact list for RCB. That was their bowling 11, so they will have an extra bat that comes in. Anuj Rawat, the obvious choice that will come in?
Yeah, Anuj Rawat, I mean, you could have a situation where if they feel their bowlers are going for a not for shot, or somebody might just come in. But that's not an option that they'd really like to choose. They'd like to have another batter coming in. Look, that's a problem, that you've got a lineup where nobody at this point in time has any confidence. My only humble submission is, just because you think the matchup works and Will Jacks bowls off spin, please do not give him 2 hours in the power play. We just saw what happened yesterday. There are 2 bowlers who are sitting scarred right now. Lalit Yadav, poor chap, and Washington Sundar are wondering what they did to bowl 1 over is bad enough. To get 2 in the power play, I mean, both of them are looking and saying, you've just ruined our auction prospects for next year.
But, that list, when you see the Bengaluru side and you don't see a Glenn Maxwell, you just feel a little confused as a fan, because Maxwell's gone out and spoken about how he wanted to take a break, an indefinite break, because of his mental health issues. This is what he had to say. I've been in this situation in the past where you can keep playing and get yourself deeper into a hole. I think now is actually a good time for me to give myself a bit of a mental and physical break, get my body right. If I'm required to get in during the tournament, I can hopefully get back into a really solid mental and physical space where I can still have an impact.
And this is happening, I mean, this is, I think, the 3rd time now for Glenn Maxwell. So he's struggling with it at times. And when your form dips, especially when you are such a high value player, and you feel that pressure. And I think in all formats of the game nowadays, with the money that's on offer in women's game and the men's game, players are going to feel some pressure, and it's how you deal with it. And he's decided that he needs some time away from it. He would have had a very quiet week. I'm not sure that they would have continued with him anyway. It was probably about that time, but he's obviously been struggling a little bit and made that call, and they're tough calls to make. But he's still got to be in and around that franchise as a leader, because he's still Glenn Maxwell. He's still that guy that probably needs to just be talking to the other players in the team and still making sure that he's a part of that franchise, as tough as it might be for him. But yeah, hopefully he gets that mental state right, and we see him back before long. But it's not an easy, and as blokes, we don't talk about it enough. The mental side of things, and it can be a very lonely time. True. It can be a really lonely time when you are horribly out of form and things aren't going your way and there's an enormous price tag on you. It can be an awful lonely time if you're sitting in that hotel room and you're not sure what to do and you haven't got your family around you. So look, I hope he comes out of where he's at the moment, and we see the best of Glenn Maxwell again soon.
Joyda, we've seen him bounce back when he's taken this break the last time, and he spoke about how he just needs to do things away from the sport to get back into some kind of mental frame.
Yeah, but look, I mean, definitely, obviously, he's going through something, so he can't be there. But spare a thought for RCB as well, because you've built an auction strategy around a particular lineup, okay? And you said, this guy is a kingpin in our lineup. He's the guy who's going to do it for us. This is what he's going to bowl us 4 overs. When you're going to travel in a situation like this, he's a very important bowler. In places like Kolkata, he's an important bowler because he gives you 4 overs and he bats at 4. I mean, that's gold for a player. So to take him out, you've changed the balance of the team a lot. And so that's what I'm saying, that it's very difficult for the franchise also. And increasingly, franchises will look at that and say, you know what, he's a very talented cricketer, but can I take the chance that during a season, it's happened 2 or 3 times, can I take the chance that this is going to happen again? So, yes, tough on him, and I can completely understand where he is. But then a franchise is also looking, saying, I've got to deliver returns to all these fans, to all these people. It's my job to do it. And if these things happen, these are an injury they feel is beyond their control. But this, I mean, they would just say, how do we manage this better? And I think it hits the franchise just as much as it hits him. It hurts them as well.
Well, from one Aussie to another Aussie, Maxwell is cooling off, but there's somebody who might need some jaldi cooling today, is Starc. So I want to go to our experts on the coolest advice powered by Crompton Air Coolers Jaldi Cooling. Simon Joyda, Starc is somebody who has gone for the whooping 24.75 price tag on his head, and he's going for 10.55 as his economy, so that's really costing KKR dearly.
Yeah, and again, it's the sort of the wow factor when you're buying a player like that. You're hoping that you see the best of him, and in the best of times it's great, in the worst of times it's not great. I've never thought Mitchell Starc is a genuinely good line and length bowler. He's a gun when the ball's reversing. I mean, when Australia was scratching the crap out of it with sandpaper, he was absolutely brilliant at Test match cricket. He was unbelievable at Test match level. But all jokes aside,
very smoothly put in. Smoothly.
No, look,
very coolly put in there.
I think he's a terrific white ball bowler in the 50 over game. Wickets up front. He's got genuine pace, and he's an unbelievably good back end bowler as well. I've never found he's a great line and length, even at Test match level, just hitting the top of off stump like Pat Cummins does or Josh Hazlewood does. He's not that sort of cricketer, and I think we've seen those have been the most successful bowlers in this tournament so far, especially the quick bowlers. And I talk about Cummins, Bumrah, who's got all the tricks of the trade. They've been the 2 standouts at the moment. So that's not Mitchell Starc. So maybe there's another role for him, 1 over only in the power. Maybe save him for 3 at the back end. I know he's been expensive at the back end, but this is a very dry surface and an afternoon game. Today might be his day to get a bit of reverse swing, to come around the wicket to the right-handers, to cause some issues. So he still doesn't use the short ball enough for my liking, but he'll feel under pressure as well. That price tag comes with a lot of pressure, especially when you're going around the park. I think the numbers showed he had 1 really good game and another sort of decent game. But he's been, well, there you go, 8.33, 2 for 25 and 3 for 28. The rest of it, he hasn't been at his best. So he'll be struggling a little bit.
Well, the best figures there, Joyda, were in Eden Gardens, so he'll keep that in mind.
In a day game.
In a day game.
Yeah.
So remember, a day game suits him better, definitely. So I totally agree with what Simon's saying. Day game. Secondly, you can't change what kind of bowler you are. So if you see, where has his economy worked? His economy has worked when he's got wickets. Because he's not the kind of bowler, he's not the metronome. He's not Hazlewood to say, okay, put another length, put another length every day. That's not him. Cummins is also like that. So he sprays the ball around a bit. So his only hope, he's not going to get you with consistency. He's going to get you when he gives that unplayable delivery. So he has to focus on that, but also just use the short ball a little better.
Yeah.
Nobody seems to be using the short ball. And when you have that kind of pace at your arsenal, you just should be using it a bit more.
He's a great athlete, and obviously the pace is his key. It really is. The pace is his key. It's been up there, but I'd just love to see him just hit that length. For an over. Couple of bounces and just hit that length. You kind of know as an opening batter that Mitchell Starc's first ball is probably going to be an in-swinger to a right hander or a really full delivery. But just surprise the odd batter. That's kind of what I'd like to see from him. But I think maybe 1 up front and then just save it. Wait till that ball's old. save him for the back end today.
All right, this is the advice that Simon and Joyda had, but we had asked you all to write in with the advice. Let's see who the winners for today are. Manju says Iyer should play one down to utilize his batting. Narine should open the bowling to get early wickets of Kohli, etc. Oh, interesting. Next up, let's see who the other winner is. The second winner for today. Chandan Sahu says his coolest advice, Kolkata should continue going big in the power play as they have power like Sunil Narine. They must promote Rinku Singh in the batting order. Starc must take early wickets with the new ball. There's a lot of musts.
There's a lot of musts in there, isn't there?
For a cricket game, it's a lot of musts.
Yeah,
a lot of musts.
That clearly is a very hardcore KKR fan.
Go and do it for us.
I like that, but the Rinku Singh thing for me is an interesting one because he's just getting pigeonholed almost already, too early in his career as only a finisher.
True.
And we've said this before on the show. He's a batter. Look at that recent series that India played when he came in when India in all sorts of trouble, got 70 odd, just worked it round, batted beautifully. He's a genuine batter.
True.
Don't pigeonhole the bloke as just a power hitter at the finish. If you're 2 down early, get him in, give him a chance.
Yes.
Fully agree.
All right, these were our winners for today. The coolest advice powered by Crompton Air Coolers, Jaldi Cooling. You all know the drill now. In case you all have any serious, any quirky, any funny advice, please share your hashtag coolest advice to win big prizes powered by Crompton Air Coolers, Jaldi Cooling. So chalo, jaldi write in because we have to have 2 winners every contest. So I don't know why you all are waiting. Simon, just what you were talking about right now. We've got a Ask CB question that's come in on Rinku. Surbhi Sharma asks, we are yet to see a Rinku Singh blitz and finish to win his side game this IPL. With his last T20 flourish coming way back in Jan, is he still an automatic pick for the T20 World Cup?
Way back in Jan? I mean, you're not talking way back in 2018, are you? I mean, seriously. Way back in Jan? That's 3 months ago. No, he's still on the plane for me. He's that X-factor player. Absolute X-factor player that he can bat when you're in trouble and he can finish a game from nowhere. And we've seen him do it. I have no doubt that he is capable of that still. As I said, 51 balls in the tournament. It's not a great sample size for my liking. If Kolkata are in trouble at all in the next few games, I'd like to see him get an opportunity a little bit further up the order. So absolutely no issue. Still on the plane for me. He has a boarding pass.
But Joyda, he's nursing some kind of an injury. He's
got a bit of a niggle because Zan Tendulkar, when he was speaking to the commentators, said that he's a bit of a niggle, and that's why perhaps they are keeping him outside because otherwise he's a gun fielder in the deep as well.
Yes.
And we've not seen him. We've seen him use as an impact sub. But what he did say is that he's looking fit now. So today, if you notice, he's in the 11 to field throughout. I think that's a big change for them that, he's starting to come back into his form. And look, again, what more can the man do? Does he need to, be the pilot for that plane to fly? Because if you give him 51 balls, and that too, he finished pretty well in the last match as well. He finished at the end. So you're just not giving him enough opportunities to play. Let the man play. I mean, he has never failed you. He has been one of the most consistent batters in Indian cricket.
And you spoke about it, Simon. You said he's not just that slogger, right? He's an intelligent batter. He plays to the conditions of the game. So I don't know why there's a question whether he should be at the World Cup.
No, he's got a lot of strengths about his game, and I think one of the big things is his mental toughness. The road he's been on, the journey he's been on prior to making it big, and prior to us all knowing about him and reading about him. And I think he's still a very humble man as well. I think what he does after the games and after the tournaments and after Indian games and things like that, what he does for the people who helped him on the way up, he's never forgotten that, and I don't think he ever will. He seems to me like that sort of character. So he can just take things, and what I love about what you just said is he assesses the situation. He doesn't use the excuse, that's how I play. It's the worst thing I hear from any player. Oh, that's how I play. No. You play the situation of the game. That dictates how you should play, and he's done that perfectly on more than one occasion. So, no, I've got no issue with him. He's a good lad.
Well, Rinku is somebody who is quite a character off the field as well, because he said, Dhoni had spoken to me, but I forgot what he spoke about. And then he went to Virat and he said, yeah, bhaiya, I had your bat, but I broke it. So he seems to be somebody who's quite a character off the field. We now need to do the essentials of Cricbuzz Live. Mr. Bhattacharjya in the house. So it's all yours, Joyda. Let's have a look at your question.
Yeah, let's have. Okay, I like this question. Just it's a bit quirky. This cricketer started his one-day international career with a duck, his test career with 100, and got a century in his 100th one-day international. Identify him, who's been a part of this league since 2008, since inception.
I think this is pretty easy to crack. There are only 7 players who have been a part since...
Come on. Yeah,
I think this one's going to be easy to crack.
Yeah, I think it's going to be easy, but yeah, it's a long weekend.
You want to be easy. You want to be easy on fans. Well, what is not easy? Yes, what has not been easy at all, and it's been really cutthroat, is our prediction game. Simon's had a long break, so I think we should let him go first.
This is the total score, isn't it?
Total score, KKR batting first.
KKR batting first. 193.
193. I'm very surprised. He was away for 1 week and he's forgotten the rules of our guessing game. He's asking us if it's the total score. 193 for
193.
Oh, you want me to go? 214.
Ooh. 214. Bangalore bowling, Bengaluru bowling is not something that you are backing. 193, 214. So I'll just play in between so everyone has the window of...
You can even go low and pick up more.
No, not low. I'll go with 205. I'll go with 205. Lots to play for because GK is downstairs. So there's a lot of competition in the house today and of course a great game on the cards. We will be giving you all the updates at the 10 over point at the Cricbuzz Combox. So we'll see you all there very soon.
जयपुर गया कोटा
कृपया ध्यान आपो अहमदाबाद
दिल्ली में आपका स्वागत लखनऊ जंक्शन
ನಿಲ್ದಾಣದ ಕಡೆಗೆ ಹೊರಟಿರುವರೆ
Hyderabad 50 Express পরবর্তী স্টেশন নেতাজি ভবন।